came home with a new family member.
Hey, Mama.
He was on vacation in Puerto Rico when a stray dog fell in love with him, and vice versa.
As soon as I parked, she ran right up to me.
You gonna follow us around now?
The only thing I had on me was a protein bar, so I gave her a piece of the protein bar.
Got ourselves a little buddy.
She wouldn't leave my side. A good half a mile she followed us.
Eddie and his girlfriend, Crystal, spent the entire day with the dog. They even gave her a name, Cece. Saying goodbye was really tough.
She followed us the whole way back to the car, chased the car down when we were leaving.
I'll see you later.
Unfortunately, I couldn't take her. Driving away was hard. It broke my heart. It really did, because that's probably the best day that puppy's had.
Eddie says he could not stop thinking about Cece.
Well, we're gonna keep looking.
The next day, he decided to go back and find her.
We came back for you.
He did, and that's when he made a big decision. He'd do everything he could to take Cece back home with him to Philadelphia. A local dog rescue organization helped.
Got her spayed, vetted, got all of her shots.
First, Cece was flown from Puerto Rico to Miami, then she was driven all the way north to Philadelphia and her new home.
Come here, Cece.
They had a welcome party when Cece arrived. She has a new big brother now, a pit bull named Chooch. From stray to home sweet home, thanks to a guy from Philly named Eddie.
That's a good girl.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. It's another episode of the podcast. Today we have a special guest. Y'all might know him as Eddie and Chooch from Instagram, from TikTok. He hopped on YouTube, trying to get that YouTube grind going. Facebook, we was just talking about this. He had a bunch of impersonators out there on Facebook. So let me just give y'all a quick little background on how I came across this brother. Y'all know I have two pets. I'm a pet lover. I'm a huge fan of dogs. And I seen him, the way he interacted with his dog. He has a tricolor. Titan is a tricolor, my puppy. The way he interacted with his dog is sort of the way I wish I would interact with my dog. And that's what drew me in. I started watching, and I quickly seen, I was like, oh, this dude, he has an awesome relationship. That's not his pet. That's like his homie. That's his brother. Yeah, exactly. That's the type of relationship they have. Yeah. And it made me, like I said, it made me realize, I was like, damn, that's the type of relationship that I admire, seeing somebody who has, it's not a pet to you at all.
Nah, man, not at all. That's my family. That's my son. I don't have any kids either, so he's really like my son.
Yeah. So, what's your name, brother?
My name's Eddie.
All right.
Also known as Eddie and Chooch.
Yes, sir. So we'll put all his Instagram, any of his social media links will be on the screen and also in the description. So, first of all, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing pretty good, Frank. How are you doing?
I'm blessed, brother.
Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming on. We spoke about this about a month ago, right. And I knew. So we first met in a Spanish spot. We was both going to get some food. He was with his lady. I was in there grabbing some food to go, and then we met. We spoke, and as soon as I see him, I was like, damn, I recognize him. I couldn't place it.
Yeah.
And whenever I seen people, I'd be like, all right, do I know them from jail? Do I know them from getting high? Do I know them from social? There's so many different things. And then we realized what it was and started talking.
Yeah.
And, and that sort of drew me into you even a little more.
Yeah.
So it was a pleasure meeting you and your lady that day.
Yeah. Yeah. That was cool.
Yeah.
Food was good.
Absolutely. It was very good.
I like going there to that spot.
Yeah, that's my spot. Every time I come out here, I'll grab it to go back home for my wife and my kids.
Yeah.
So
it's a little away from things too,
Absolutely. So, sort of his own little place.
Yeah.
So how old are you, brother?
40 years old.
40 years old.
Yeah.
All right. And tell me a little bit about where you were born, your upbringing, things like that.
I was born in Philly, born and raised. I grew up in a neighborhood called Oxford Circle, Somerdale, St. Martin and Tours Parish, lower northeast, I guess you could say. Grew up with a single mother, right? Never met my dad. Still to this day, I never met my dad. And you know, we grew up a little poor, you know what I mean? But I will say this, we always had what we needed. I never went hungry, man. You know what I mean? But it was cool. It was cool growing up in a neighborhood. It was a tight knit neighborhood. Everybody knew everybody. I feel like things are a lot different now. I feel bad. I feel bad for the kids growing up. You know,
It's very different, right?
it's super different.
So let me ask you something. You said, you grew up in a single mother home. Your mom always found a way. You didn't know your father. Was that typical in your community amongst your friends and stuff, or?
Nah, Frank. See, that's it wasn't because like all my boys, man. I don't know if you can relate or somebody listening might be able to relate, but like we had mismatching furniture. We had the small little tube TV,
Yeah.
right? No cable. So when I would go to my boys' house, they had the big screen. I'd see mom and dad. When I would go to my baseball games, I'd see both parents. I'd be walking to my games. Everybody else's parents would drive, and I was there like dolo by myself.
Yeah.
So I used to think like, damn, like why don't I have the big TV in the crib? Why don't my mom come to my basement? This is when I'm younger. I'm thinking this. In hindsight, she was working overtime to put me through Catholic school. You know what I mean? I'm older now. I can recognize that now. But as a kid, sometimes I don't think you understand. I don't think you understand that as a young kid.
Absolutely. I can relate to that 100%. Growing up, my mother and father, it was absolutely dysfunctional. Everybody was addicts. They were shooting dope. And my mother ended up leaving my father. I was, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 years old. And I was happy. I was happy because there was so much chaos. I used to beat my mom's ass, all that type of stuff. So I was happy. And I remember the first day, like when they broke up, my dad took everything in the house. Everything. Listen, our furniture, my bedroom furniture, my sister's furniture, everything. There was nothing in the house. When I walked into the house, it was like we just moved in. It was a fucking echo, but it didn't matter. I was happy because I knew, all right, my mom's going to be safe.
Right.
I'm going to be safe. My father was abusive, so I was happy. But I relate to everything you're saying, going to the practices and sports and by yourself and you see other people.
Yeah, man.
Did you ever find or like have a deep desire to make your mom like proud to show her like sports accomplishments and stuff?
I don't know about that. I mean, my mom, I remember, when you're about 14 is when you hop off the porch, right?
Yeah.
So like once I hit like 14, man, I already had my neighborhood crew that I was hanging with all the time. And I was more worried about being outside. And she was real strict and she was like, no, you're not quitting baseball. Like you're not.
Yeah.
I would throw it in her face. I would be like, well, you don't come to my games anyway. You know what I mean? So like, yeah, man, I don't know. She did the best she could, though, and if she's going to be watching this, then I don't want her to think like, I was a bad, like, it's nothing like that. She did what she had to do to put me through Catholic school because if I was going to a different school, man, I don't know. Who knows? I might not be here today. So
Absolutely. I can agree with that. Sometimes, and I know that now as a parent, that we have to make the best with what we have, information wise, financially, location, all that. Sometimes we got to make, something good out of shit.
Yeah.
And it sounds like that's what she was trying to do.
Yeah. Yep.
So family, siblings?
Not only child.
Only child?
Yeah, only child.
Did you like that?
No, I can't say that I did, man. I would have loved to have like a brother or something.
Yeah.
But
did you have any close cousins or anything?
I have a couple cousins, 2 girls, Christy and Allison. They grew up a little different than me. They grew up in Bucks County, and
okay.
I don't talk to them as much as I should.
Yeah.
I have a very, very small family because I don't have a dad side. So like I have a couple aunts. My mom just retired. She moved down Myrtle Beach.
Okay.
Which kind of sucked a little bit. She's my mom, man. And but good for her. She earned it. She deserves it. So.
Gotcha. So, going to school, you played baseball, you said, right?
I played baseball, football. Yeah. Yep.
All right. And What type of student were you?
So in grade school, man, I was pretty good, second honors and shit. Yeah, I was pretty good. But freshman year, 14 years old, actually, I got kicked out of Father Judge my first year there. And,
Yeah.
Like I said, it's not that I'm a dummy, right? And I think a lot of people can relate to this. You're not stupid. It's just you don't apply yourself, man. And I never applied myself in school. Now, I never really, I wasn't failing a bunch of subjects, but I didn't try, man. I didn't try. And I wish, looking back, man, I wish I put more effort into the schoolwork instead of what's going on out in the street, man.
Yeah. I think like so many of us, right? So many of us. I was the same way. I was far from stupid, but it wasn't cool to do that shit.
No.
So
Right.
I didn't do it.
Right.
You end up graduating?
Oh, yeah, I graduated. I didn't walk in graduation or anything, but I got my diploma. Yeah.
Okay.
I did a little stint with community college. I was detailing cars at the time, and my boy Kev, one of my best friends, like his family was real big in the union, the insulators union. So I was 24, and I just joined that. You know what I mean? It seemed like a good thing. That's like a kid from Philly's dream, man. Get in the union, get in the building trades.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's what I
It's
did.
like you made it.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, talk to me about where your life went after that. Good, bad, and different.
Right. So, I grew up with a lot of resentment, man, and I think that's where a lot of my anger came. So they say anger is not like a real emotion; it's a buildup of resentment and fear. And
One more time, say that.
they say anger is not really like a real emotion. They say it's a combination of resentment and fear.
What's your opinion on that? Just before you pass, you believe or?
So I used to not believe that until when I got sober years later. My sponsor, Ricky D, he said, "You're afraid," and I said, "Rick, bro, I've been shot 7 times, man. Who do you think I'm afraid of?" You know what I mean? He said, No. I'm not saying you're afraid of a person or this. He said, "You're afraid of what people think of you. You're afraid that your ego might take a shot." And man, he was right. He was right because I had that chip on my shoulder for some reason for so long, and I carried all this resentment, and it turned into anger, and like I was just being reckless, bro. Being reckless to where at the age of 24, when I got into my union, I was only in my union for like 3 months. I was involved in an altercation at a local establishment. Long story short, man, I'm not going to act like I'm an angel. I sucker punched a dude when he was going to the bathroom. He was taking a piss. We had an argument. I stole him. And he left the bar. He came back with a gun. Man, he waited for me to leave, and he fired 9 rounds. He hit me 7, 6 went through me. And that shit changed my life, man. That shit changed my life. At first, I thought it changed it for the worse, but I'm a huge believer that everything happens for a reason, man, because that spiraled me into an addiction, but it also got me sober. I ended up changing my life, man, So everything happens for a reason. And he changed his life, too, from what I hear.
What was the argument over?
So that's so stupid, man. Ego, right? So
Isn't it always, right?
So stupid. 2 drunk dudes, man. I think he was all wetted up. We had bumped into each other in the bar, and he came up, talking all this shit, and I was like, bro, I'm not here for that. I went to shake his hand, right? So we shook hands. He pulled me in close. He's like, just don't let it happen again, man, because I ain't the one. He said that to me. So ego, right? He hit me like. So now my head's telling me, he think he's talking to.
Yeah.
No, pussy, you got the right one. Like that.
I'm not the one.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, hey, you got the right one, dude. Like, So I watched him walk to the bathroom, and I told my man, I was like, yo, watch the door. I'm gonna go snuff this dude. He was like, all right. And this is like a typical thing, man. And I'm not bragging. It's just it's stupid that I acted like this, man.
Yeah.
Like it's stupid. And I'm not proud to say it, but yeah, I opened up the door. It was a small bathroom, super small. He was peeing, and I hit him. I hit him with a straight right. He fell back. The wall held him up, and we started rumbling. And he was in such a rush to leave. Like once the door opened and people broke it up, because he knew he was like, I'm gonna air this dude out.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And I can understand where his anger came from. I can understand when alcohol or drugs are involved and something like that happens. He was angry. I stole. I wasn't no angel, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I can understand, why he did what he did. And a lot of people were like, I don't know how can you like condone that? I said, no, I'm not condoning it. I'm not condoning it. I can understand because there's a reason why he did what he did. It's a cause and effect. You know what I mean? And you live and you learn, man.
So, yeah, what did your friends or anybody else say? Was they, after the Rumble when he leaves the bar, were they like, yo, come on, this is a good idea to get out of here? Or?
Yeah, so my boy Pookie was like, come on, you're gonna get locked up. Cause I had came outside of the establishment and I was arguing with the owner. I knew the owner of the bar.
Gotcha.
And he was like, Eddie, you can't be doing this shit in my bar, blah, blah, blah. Now we're arguing. So Pookie was like, come on, you're gonna get locked up. Come on, let's go. So we started walking up the one-way street. Mind you, there's 25 people outside of the bar at this point, right? And he must have been watching me and waited for me to go. He pulled up the one-way street, jumped out, and he dumped his magazine. He fired 9 rounds, and somehow, man, I didn't get hit in my center.
Yeah,
I got hit in all my extremities. I got hit in my left thumb, my left finger. I put my hands up in front of my face.
Yeah.
My right hand, my right forearm shattered my forearm. My left femur, my right knee grazed on my right femur.
Wow.
Tell me how that happens, man. It was 15 feet from me, bro.
Were you standing up when that was? Okay.
Yeah.
So you were walking to the car, or?
Well, I heard him say something. He said something, so I turned around and I seen him.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, all right, he wants to run on the street.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah. So I'm like, all right, bet, let's run it. And he pulled the joint out, and I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I put my hands up in the air, like in front of my face. Like, I never in a million years, bro, because I've had guns pulled on me. I didn't think he was going to, you know what I mean? And I just saw that muzzle flash. I was like, dang, this dude, he ain't the one. Yeah. He was right.
Yeah.
I should have left him alone,
Then you get rushed to the hospital.
Yeah, I got rushed to the hospital. I can remember being in that ambulance, and my boy Kev took the ride with me, and I remember being super cold, and like I was like kind of falling asleep, and they're like, "Yo, wake up! Like, don't go to sleep, And I heard them say 14, and I'm like, and I remember waking up out of my sleep, like when I was 14, because I only heard 3 shots, Frank. I only heard 3 shots, man. I didn't hear it, and I'm like 14. They're like, well, we're counting entries and exits, and I'm like, what is going on? Like, I didn't realize I was hit that many times, man. I just saw blood. I saw blood on my arms, and I knew my legs were hit because I couldn't walk. And I remember my boys pulled my pants off because I told them, I said, I'm hitting the leg, but no blood was coming from my leg. They're like, no, you're not. But I was. I knew I was. Yeah. I guess all the blood probably pumping from my heart was coming out of my arms first.
Gotcha. And you were drunk at the time too?
Oh,
were you high at the time at all?
No.
Drunk?
So at that point in time, man, like, I was always a partier, right?
Yeah.
Like, go out on the weekends, get fucked up, do some coke, you know what I mean? Whatever. But I didn't have an addiction. I could say that I probably had a mental obsession before that happened with like perks and stuff, you know what I mean?
You were sort of able to keep it at bay, right? To a weekend thing.
It was I'll tell you what it was. It was a Friday night thing because I was working. I was still detailing cars on Saturdays, so I couldn't go out to the bar on Friday night. I had to be up early. So I would look forward to every week, man, getting a couple joints.
Yeah, enjoy yourself.
Eating them, ordering a cheesesteak, watching a movie, and just scratching my face off. I used to look forward to that. It sounds sick, you know what I mean?
No, absolutely. Listen, that's so. A lot of people don't realize when it comes to addiction, we have a whole routine.
Yeah.
I used to go get my ice cream bars or my candy, whatever I was eating. I used to go get my special drink, lay out a cigarette, and get high. And then I had my whole routine. Yeah. So that routine becomes just as addictive as the drug.
Right. Now, let me ask you this. Do you have routines today?
Oh, everything. Everything.
Same.
My whole life is routine based.
Facts, yeah, me too.
My wife always be grinding me up. I'll eat the same thing literally for 3 months, and then I'll switch, and it'll be another thing for 3 months. And then my interest when I'm watching on TV, on YouTube, will be one thing for 3 months, and then I'll pick up like these micro hobbies or habits, right? That I do all the time.
Same. I'm so militant like that. And my girl makes fun of me too, man. She's like, "You're a psycho." Yeah. Whatever. You call it psycho, I call it structured.
For me, I also know my personality. I have an addicted person. I don't do nothing just a little bit. Everything I do is a lot, or I don't do it. You know, so
yep, same,
which
man.
is a good thing and a bad thing also.
Yeah, I say that all the time too, man. I'm the type of dude, like, if I say I'm going to do something, bro, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to do it to the best of my ability.
Absolutely, right? Why waste the time and not do it? Why waste the time to be like a level 8 when you could be a level 10? All it does is take a little more work, a little more sacrifice, you know, all that.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to me about recovering from those gunshots, mentally, emotionally, physically. Talk to me about that. Because there's somebody listening, that's recovering from gunshot wounds.
Yeah. What you don't realize when you hear people getting shot is you don't think of like broken bones and stuff, man. And I had a lot of broken bones in my hands and my arm. Thank God the one that went in my femur, it missed my bone. It just went to muscle.
Well, you also got your femoral artery, the biggest artery in your body. You hit that, and you're dead in like 15 seconds.
Oh, I would have been dead. Yeah, for sure. So it was a lot of occupational therapy, a lot of physical therapy. And you know, I had just gotten into my career, man, as a union construction worker.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't know if I was ever going to work again. I didn't know if I'd be able to, you know, do the work, pick heavy things up. I didn't know. I didn't know how to recover. And yeah.
How long were you in the hospital?
3 days.
Okay.
3 days, bro.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
They send you home.
Yeah, they sent me home.
Script of Percocets.
Oh, yeah. Well, fentanyl patches, and Percocets. Yep. And I was living with my mom at the time, and my mom would hold on to the bottle, and she would be like, "All right, every 4 hours, you know."
Yeah.
But this is how sick we get. Like, I would take it, and I would hold on to it.
Yeah.
Wait 4 hours. She give me another one. I hold on to it. Wait 4 more hours. She give me another one. Now I can.
Yeah.
Now I can take 3.
I feel something.
Now I can take 3 of them. You know what I mean? I would deal with the pain and all. Just,
of course.
You know, isn't that sick, man? I think back like, man. Yeah, but yeah, no, I had scripts for days, man, and that's when I really got a habit, man. Like, you know, I always say this too, Frank. That after that shooting, man, I'm the type of dude, I can't be stagnant, right? I can't sleep in. I get depressed. So when that happened to me, I couldn't drive. My car was stick shift. I couldn't drive. I was very, very depressed, man. And those little pills gave me just enough fake happiness. I always say it's a fake happiness to keep going. Because there's been times where I started to question whether I even wanted to live, you know? But you give me a couple of them things, and everything's cool, man. Everything's great. Everything's great, you know? So, you know, I honestly, man, I think I needed them. I think I needed them at that point in my life. I really do.
So, now, had you struggled with addiction or anything, being that your mom was like, she had the presence of mind to be like, no, let me get these? Or was she just...
I think she was just hip to it.
Okay, she was just being preventive.
Yeah, my mom ain't don't be.
Yeah. Gotcha.
You ain't nothing getting by my mom. Yeah. You know, she used to. I can remember this one time, man. I was bringing an ounce of weed to school, and oh man, I had a little Gap jacket, like a windbreaker joint, and I had them. I was in the shower, and they were in little glass jars. They looked like wet jars, but they weren't. I just put them in there to make it look good.
Yeah,
Oh, they got the jars.
Exactly.
You know, I'm young, I'm 14 years old. And
exactly.
I'll never forget, man. She would go through my shit, and the shower. First, I heard the door open, the bathroom door, and I heard it clink, 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 clink. And the shower came up. She said, "What the fuck is this shit?" And I'm like, "Oh, yeah." My mom was hit, man. She wasn't stupid, man.
Yeah, got you. Looking back now, do you feel as though they like gave you too much prescription, or do you feel as though, you know?
I don't think I needed the fentanyl patches.
Yeah,
because one of my best friends I grew up with, Dave, he passed away in 2013. But I remember him saying, "Yo, you got to cut them joints open and suck the gel out of them."
Yeah,
it was like a gel.
Yeah, I know.
And he told me that, man.
Oh man,
yeah,
that's a wrap after that.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, man. And then, you know, once they cut you off, so, you know, obviously, Frank, I'm buying them on the street too, right? Like, it's not because the script wasn't enough. So I'm still getting, you know, I know neighborhood dudes where I would get fronted all week And then on payday, they knew I was good.
Yep.
I come back around, I'd give them money. Might not have been all the money, but every week they were getting $500 from me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But once my doctor cut me off, and I remember he prescribed me Vicodin, and I'm like, what the fuck are these, man? Like, and I was going through withdrawal, but I didn't even know what withdrawal was. Because when I think of withdrawal, I think of somebody throwing up, shivering. That's what I'm thinking. And with me, my back would be all jacked.
All those onsets, the early withdrawal, aches and sores.
Oh, like just no motivation. You just want to lay in bed all day.
Yeah.
But this is how you know this shit's all mental, right? I'm sure you can relate. I'd be laying there, nobody's answering their phone, I can't get nothing. Fucking pain.
Second somebody answers, you're good.
As soon as somebody answers, boom, that euphoria. Pow! You jump out of bed like nothing. And you're in a better mood before you even get it than you are when you get it. So that tells you how, it tells you it's all mental. It's 90% of it's mental, man.
I agree.
Yeah, man.
So speak to me about your addiction, how it took place, talk to me about that.
I mean, I was addicted to joints, perks. I got them off of neighborhood dudes. I'm not really sure like how much money I was spending per day.
Yeah.
I just know that it got to the point where it just wasn't giving me that relief anymore, bro. Like I would go pay $60 for a half hour of relief. Like that's how bad I wanted to feel okay, and it stopped working, man. And I can remember, dude. So I had gotten a car accident. This is 2011. I got into a little car accident, so I didn't have my car. I had this dude at work. He stepped on my phone. I didn't have a phone, so now I'm a alcoholic drug addict with no phone, no car. I'm living with my boy John, and I remember I said, "Yo, I gotta borrow your car to go grab something." He's like, "Go take it." So I don't remember if it was either on the way or coming back, but I remember pulling over on the side of the road, bro. I pulled over and I said, God, man, I can't do this shit no more. So like either help me, man, or like just let me go. Because I just it was just a rat race, man. It was every day. I just didn't want to do it. And he must have been listening, bro, because like a week or two later, man, I ended up in my first ever rehab. And I never looked back, man. I got sober one time, and it was enough pain. They say that your body or your mind is trained to forget the bad times. They say that you only remember the good times. Fuck that, man. I remember them bad times. I remember what it was like to wake up wanting to die, bro. I remember it, man. So maybe that's what keeps me sober. Ultimately, God keeps me sober, but maybe that memory is still fresh in me.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem, I'm coming up on 12 years of sobriety. September 30th, it'll be 12 years. And it don't seem like 12 years, man. It does not.
So 12 years of sobriety, that's a long time.
Yeah.
That's a long time. So we spoke about this before. You say you don't really do meetings like that, right?
Listen, I did meetings for a long time. I was a member of AA, and I did it for about 7 years. Then I kind of tapered off, and like when COVID popped off, there was no meetings. And I was content with I didn't have to go. There's some people that have to go. And it's, you know what I mean? It's different strokes for different folks. I'm very grateful. I'm a huge believer you're right where you're supposed to be. So after I got out of rehab, I met this dude, Don. He was from Longcrest. It's a neighborhood over from where I grew up. We started chopping it up. We related a lot. He was going to a recovery house. He said, "Yo, why don't you come to a recovery house?" This guy, John Mulvena, he came out. He's a carpenter. He's from Fishtown. We related. He ran the house. I said, "All right, you know what? I got nowhere else to go, man. I'm going to give it a shot." So I did, and I went, and thank God for that, because they're the ones that put me in those rooms of AA. And if it wasn't for that, man, I wouldn't. Because, when I went to rehab, I didn't plan on stop drinking. I thought, let me just put the pills away.
Yeah,
put the pills away, and the coke. Let's not do. I just won't do coke anymore when I drink. You know what I mean? And God had a different plan for me, man. And I don't miss alcohol at all. I really don't. There's alcohol in my house. My girl drinks, wine, Tito's, and it doesn't affect me at all. Like I'm never in an establishment where I'm like, man, I wish I could have a drink.
Yeah.
Ever. It doesn't happen. And I also know when to leave, though.
Yeah. So it seems like you're very self-aware of, triggers and all that shit, and when's good and when's not.
Don't get me wrong, man. I'm a changed man, Frank, but I sometimes people still test my patience sometimes, and I don't want to be in an environment where people are drunk and like something's said or something. I just don't want to be there. So like once 11 o'clock, like I'll go out for the games, man. I'll go with my boys. We'll drink. I'll get some food, get some Cokes. They'll have beers. But once the game's over, bro, I'm ready to go. Because I already see, because some of my friends still, they still, some of them shouldn't drink. I'll just say that.
Yeah, of course.
And, I just don't want to be around it.
That's the way I am. I never really like to drink. I haven't drank, since before I even ever got high. 20-something years. But I don't like being around that stuff. I just, people drunk, they get on my nerves.
Yeah.
But but the crazy thing is if I had one beer, it wouldn't bother me.
Right.
But I just know, that's not people I want to be around. Sometimes we got to think for others.
Yeah.
Right. I'm a big believer in that. Sometimes we got to think for others. We got to be smart for two people.
Yeah.
Because we potentially know, okay, somebody might be drunk, their inhibitions might be a little lowered, they acting up. I got to be the smart one to say, okay, I'm going to get out of here.
Yeah, gotta go.
Yeah.
Yep.
So.
The old Irish exit, they call it. I don't even say bye. Just see.
Yeah.
Talk to you tomorrow.
Yeah, that's it. That's the best thing to do. Have you had any instances where you've had those cravings and been like, man, it'd be nice to have a couple pills right now and just relax, or emotionally you're in pain or anything like that?
So there was a time a couple years ago, man, where I felt very, very lonely. And when I say lonely, I was with somebody for a period of time, and we weren't together anymore. And it wasn't the fact that I was upset that I wasn't together with him, because it was, it was more the fact that, like, man, I'm like 37. I think I was 37 at the time, and I don't have any kids. And I got this house, right? I bought a house in 2016, 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath. And I was coming home every day, and I was by myself, man. And I look at all my friends, and I was like, damn, everybody got families. Like, I just felt like I was starting over. And but I had my dog, man, my dog Chooch, and if I didn't have him, man, I don't know what would have happened. I think I think God provides, man, and I think there's a reason I got Chooch, and he's helped me out, man. They're dogs, they're great. Like you can complain to them, bro, and they just listen. He acts interested too. He'll just stare at you like. Sometimes I'm like, man, you understand what I'm saying.
Best thing is they're not going to tell you their problems either.
Right, facts.
They're not going to be like, well, yeah, that's all right, but I'm going through this. Yeah. They're just going to listen.
Yep. No, he'll grab his leash, right? And it takes me out of myself. Like, I might be feeling bad, and he'll grab his leash. Oh, come on, Chooch, let's go on a walk. You know what I mean? Let's go. Let me get out of my head. Let me take you on a walk. And then sometimes, it shit makes you feel better, man.
Yeah. So I wanna jump into Chooch. Tell me the story of you getting him. What he was like as a puppy. What made you get him? What was going on in your life, things like that.
I don't know what exactly made me see. I never had a dog growing up because I'm allergic. I'm actually allergic to dogs.
Me too.
And cats.
Me too.
But there was a girl, Jess Knowles.
1 sec. Do you take medication for it?
I do take allergy medicine every day.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah, right. even if not even just for the dog, just in general, I have bad allergies.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean, like just the pollen and shit, dust mites.
Gotcha.
But I knew of this girl, Jess, who she had a male and a female, and they had a litter, and it was only 3 puppies, and she's like, "Oh, you want him?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll take him." I went and I looked, and I was like, "Dude, he's awesome." He's the first puppy that came up to me. Like, he came right up to me. And his brother and sister were picking on him. I'll never forget that. They were picking on him, like beating up on him. And Yeah, man. And
So Chooch chose you.
Chooch, that's what they say. The dog chooses you, man.
Absolutely, I agree.
They always say that.
Yeah, I agree.
I still know who. Well, his brother actually passed away. My buddy John Mulvena. I mentioned him earlier. He had his brother Blue. He got cancer of the jaw. Died at 6 years old, and then my buddy Mike has his sister Sophia.
Okay.
So I think she's still doing pretty good. I hope everybody who has a puppy from that litter is sober. They're all everybody, you know.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah. Because it's kind of like
Yeah.
the girl who had the puppies. She's not a breeder or anything. She just had a male and a female, and they had puppies, and she's sober as well. So
yeah. Well, I think that while I was asking, like, you know, what was going on in your life, if there was anything, because I think a lot of us get pets like to help heal, you know, or sometimes they bring healing with them that we don't even realize we're getting. You know, we might be just looking for a puppy, and we don't realize, man, we're getting a little bit of healing. You know, that's coming along with that.
A little bit of healing, and I think as men, it's our instinct to want to provide or take care of. And you know, I don't have any kids. You know what I mean? So getting a puppy or a dog depends on you. So you know, it almost, you know, that's why I say he's like my son, man. You know what I mean? Like it gives you it gave me a purpose to you know, all right, this is a commitment, and I know he's going to test my patience sometimes, you know, but it's going to be worth it. Like I have a new puppy now, Cece, and she's testing my patience, man. But I know what I signed up for, man, and you know, we're going to get through it.
What was one of your best memories with Chooch, and what was one of your worst memories with him?
Let me try to think. One of my best memories with him is not too long ago, man. Last year, see, he doesn't like car rides. He gets anxiety. So I had never taken him to a beach. I had never taken him to see the ocean. And last year, he also doesn't do good in the heat, bro. So I can't bring him. On a day like today, man, 96-degree heat.
Too hot.
No, So we waited until it was cool. It was like September. It was right around my sobriety date, and we took him to Ocean City, New Jersey, man. And I had him running around on the beach, no leash, no, you know, just free, you know. And you know, I live in a city, so he doesn't get to do that a lot. You know, people, if I let him go off a leash, man, you know, people, especially with his breed, you know, they'll be you know. So it was cool, man. That was a great memory, and I hope that we get to do that again this fall. Once it gets cool, I want to bring him back down there again. I want to try to get him in the water this time. He wasn't feeling
no.
One of my worst memories. Oh man!
Like sometimes he just drove you nuts. Were you like this fucking? Dog?
So I remember when he was a puppy, I have these pretty big curtains in my living room, and they're expensive. They're heavy, and they're expensive, and the curtain rod is heavy. And he had yanked the curtain and pulled the anchor. Pulled the anchor right out of the thing, and my curtains were all over the drywall, sheetrock was all over the place, you know. And I was like, "What the?" You know, that was a bad memory. He chewed the bottom of my stairs in my basement when he was teething. But that's my fault. I fell asleep, and I fell asleep in the basement. I wasn't paying attention to him. You know, they're like babies, man. You got
absolutely.
You got to watch them.
Yeah, I say, like, I think they're worse than children because a 2-year-old baby, you could leave on the bed and the baby's pretty much going to stay on the bed.
Yeah.
A puppy is going to eat the bed, eat the wall, shit all over, you know, and then throw up everything that it ate, you know. Listen, my dogs, the other day I came home, I had both my son and my daughter at the shop because my wife was at work. So I get home about a half an hour before my wife. I walk into the house. 3 huge piles of dog shit, vomit, and a puddle of piss. And my dogs never go to the bathroom inside the house. So as soon as I seen it, I said, all right, one of them is sick. Yeah. But then the stench, because it was, you know, it was in there for a couple hours. I was at work. Man, my kids came out of the house with their nose pinched, and I was like, what are they doing? You know? And they're like, oh, Titan threw up and he shit. I was like, oh my gosh. Where this time, it made me wish, like, I was like, damn, if the kids didn't see it, I might have left and came back when my wife got home, you know what I mean? To make her feel like she stumbled upon it. But then I was like, damn, that's dirty work.
Yeah,
you know?
that's crazy work.
And she would have been pissed off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She would have really been pissed because she's the one that cleans the house.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
She's gonna hear. She's gonna hear. She's gonna hear that.
Yeah, I told her, I said, yo, I was about to leave, but the kids knew. I said, I was about to leave and come back.
You should have asked the kids,
But the
why
kids-
didn't you clean it up?
Yeah, shit. I would have known if I would have told one of them, one is 4, the other one's 10, I would have had 10 times more of a mess. You know, so I was like, here, get out of the way. I'll clean this shit. So tell us about Cece. Cece has an interesting story. How you came about finding her, right?
So me and my girl, man. My girl's Puerto Rican, so she goes to Puerto Rico a lot. Her grandma lives in Puerto Rico, so she's like, I want to show you Puerto Rico, and I was like, all right, bet. I've never been there, so we went, and it was our second day, but our first full day there. She wanted to go to this Ducky Beach. It's not like a known beach in Ceiba, Puerto Rico. We were staying in Fajardo, so it was only like, I don't know, 20-minute drive. And as soon as we pulled up, we saw this white dog, and there was a pickup truck there, and it was a dude in a pickup truck, and like, I don't know if he was feeding her or what, but we parked probably like a quarter mile down the road, and as soon as we got out the wheel, she ran right up, and I'm like, oh man, she looked so skinny, so I had a protein bar. That's all I had, you know. I gave her a piece of the protein bar, and bro, she followed us the rest of the way. Like, so just to get to the beach that we went to, we had to walk through like the mangrove. It was probably a good half a mile we walked.
Yeah.
She was like
Still right there.
Yeah, and then like she came into the water with me. And then we're chilling. I look back, she's taking a nap on the seaweed behind us. And I'm like, damn, she slept for like a good hour and a half. And when we were about ready to leave, I told my girl, I said, yo, be quiet. I don't want her to follow us back to the car because I'm going to feel horrible. Yeah, I'm going to feel bad, you know? And she started following us, man. And I'm like, oh, this sucks, dude. Then I had to pull off. She chased the car down. You know what I mean? And it made me feel, yeah, I posted all this content.
Yeah.
I posted all this content and all my followers were like, oh, I can't believe you left her. And I'm thinking in my head, like, listen, it's really our first day there.
Yeah.
I cannot bring a stray dog back to my Airbnb. The owner lived upstairs.
Exactly. You're not even home.
Right,
you know,
right.
And even if you were, there's still so much, so many variables that people don't like realize.
I don't know if she has fleas.
Yeah, you don't know anything. You don't even know if it's somebody's dog, to be honest with you.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Well, I kind of knew, like, just by her, the way she looked.
Her appearance.
Yeah. So, I was getting grinded up by Chooch's followers.
Of course.
Yeah, everybody would do this, and let's be honest, you wouldn't have done shit.
Yeah. No,
you would have said
the same exact thing
you would have said bye, and you probably never would have came back.
Yep.
You know
on social media, criticizing somebody else.
Yeah. So whatever, we left, and how could you do that? And I'm on vacation. It was like my first day there, and I could not bring her back to the Airbnb. But when I posted this, John Jones, the UFC fighter, man, he commented.
Yeah.
He's like, you better go back and get that. His exact words. He said, you better go back and get that damn dog. That's probably the best day that dog's had in a long time. And me and my girl thought about it all night long. Like, we had a whole day planned the next day. We had to wake up at 4:30 in the morning to catch a ferry to go to Culebra, which is a little island, But we said, you know what? When we get back, which was around like 5 p.m., we're going to look for that dog. And thank God for Chooch's followers, because I didn't know how to go about doing this, right?
Yeah, logistics.
They were tagging like different rescues, and this rescue organization called Souls of Santos, this woman by the name of Chelsea, she DM'd me and she said, yo, if you find this dog, we will help you. I'll meet you halfway. She lived in Dorado, which is about an hour and a half away from where we were. And we went and we looked for it, man. I looked for this dog for like an hour and a half, and she wasn't where we originally saw her. And I was like, I thought she would be for sure. And talked to some older women feeding stray cats, showed them the videos. They're like, no, we never seen her, but this beach is where people come to dump dogs. Like, it's a huge problem.
Yeah.
They said, I'll tell you what, go down the road about a half mile. There's a neighborhood. There's vendors out there. Sometimes they throw food out to the scraps. And so I'm driving through the neighborhood now. And my girl was like, there she is. And I'm like, what? No way. And I pulled over. I got out. I was so excited, man. I FaceTimed that girl, Chelsea, right away. Like, yo, I got her, you know? And she came right with us, man. There wasn't no resistance. Like, she jumped right in the car. Again, dogs, they say dogs choose you, man.
Yes.
And I think I had a purpose. I think we had a purpose of going to Puerto Rico. The one older woman, Maria, who we actually text back and forth, and she said that too. She said, you had a purpose coming here, man.
Mm-hmm.
And it was to save that dog. She wasn't like the rest of the dogs, man. She wasn't part of a pack. A lot of them dogs are
get that pack mentality.
yeah, they're packed up.
Yep.
You know, you can't really get too close to them. You might be able to throw some scraps in, but you can't, you know, they're not going to follow you.
Yeah, and interact and all that.
Right. So, yeah, she was different, man. And
I'm such a big believer, and it's shown so many times throughout my life that things don't happen by mistake.
no.
You know, nothing that has ever happened to me, I've ever done, is by mistake. Everything, you know, is God's timing. It might not be our timing or perfect timing, but it's God's timing.
Yes.
When He wants us to cross people's path, bump into each other, fall, laugh, cry, it's going to happen, whether we like it or not.
Yes, absolutely.
So at this time, had John Jones, was he following you already, or he just happened to come across the...
Nah, he just commented
He
on
got
the
some
reel.
traction. Okay.
He just commented on the reel, and then the following day, you know, when we found the dog, I posted like a couple short clips because I didn't have time to edit stuff. So I just posted some clips with her in the car.
Yep.
And he started following me after that, bro. I was like,
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm a huge dude. I'm a UFC. I'm an MMA. I love watching MMA, man.
Yep, likewise.
He's the GOAT.
Absolutely. That's what I was just about to say.
He is a beast. And, you know, I was super excited. I told my girl, I'm like, John Jones is following me. She's like, who?
Yeah.
Who's that? I'm like, John Jones.
Listen, there's very few people that I like, you know, when it comes to celebrities, musicians, and all that shit.
Yeah.
Fighters, Don Jones, he's one of just what he's able to achieve, and then his background too, to know like, oh, he's like us. You know what I mean? He's not too different.
Right.
He's just in a different arena. That's it. You know, I love those types of stories. I love somebody that at times might fuck their life up, but is able to somehow pull it back together.
Yeah.
Those are dope. You know, that's what fairy tales are built on.
Real life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell people about your social media. Tell them what they can expect when they go there, what type of content you post.
So I mainly post, so the puppy from Puerto Rico, her name is Cece. We named her Cece after Ceiba, Puerto Rico. We found her in Ceiba. My girl came up with the idea. And so now it's Chooch and Cece, man. It's their world. And that's pretty much my content. You know, Frank, I am sober. I have been sober for almost 12 years. And I feel like I need to start touching on that a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because I know, you know, I get DMs and it's like, yo, man, I just want you to know, like, your story helped me. And, you know, people are listening, man. And I know a lot of people can relate. And I think I really have to start talking about my sobriety more. I don't do it enough. It's mainly the dogs, right?
Yeah.
But the dogs and my sobriety go hand in hand too, man. You know what I mean? Like, Chooch is a huge part of my sobriety. You know, we talked about it when I went through the rough times, man.
Yep.
He, you know, he was a friend. He was a friend, you know, and you know, as men, sometimes we don't always want to talk about our feelings. Like, you know, I got my friends that I grew up with, right? We're still, you know, from the sandbox. Like, we're still close. But I don't want to vent to them about stuff all the time. You know, you're not comfortable, you know, so I talk to Chooch. I let him know, you know, he listens.
Who better though, right?
Facts.
Who better?
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, basically, as far as the social medias, it's a lot of dog content, man. It's just my caption is just a man and his dog. I should change it to a man and his dogs.
Yeah.
Because it's just you know, it's just me being real with my dog. I think I started out like posting conversations with my dog.
Yep.
And people would watch, and you know, we have a following on Instagram at that point. TikTok he did, but I think we only had like 5,000, 6,000 followers at that point. And she's the one, she's like, we got to clean your Insta up a little bit.
Yeah.
And I just started posting the reels from my TikToks. And started gaining some traction.
Yeah.
You know?
Good shit.
Yeah, a lot of dog lovers out there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think dogs are better than people, right?
You know, I'm not one to say that,
Yeah.
but like I never go and say, "Oh, dogs are better than people," but man, it makes you wonder. Like, you know,
Yeah.
they're innocent, man. They're innocent, and all they want to do is show love for the most.
Absolutely. They show you, listen, there's people out there that treat their dogs like shit, and that dog still just loves them unconditionally.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They don't, sometimes they'll hold a little grudge, you know. They might not talk to us or, you know, little like that, but nowhere near the way we do as humans.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
I think like they love, you know, where I think us as humans, even our greatest love, still don't compare to the love that, you know, you get from a...
I never saw a human run around in circles and get the zoomies.
Exactly.
When they seem, you know.
Yeah.
And you might say, oh, well, what, your kids. Yeah, when they're younger, they probably get excited. But
yeah.
We know how
goes
that
away quick.
We know how that goes once they hit the teens, you know.
Absolutely.
They're too cool for that shit, you know. And there's another quote I love, man. It says, you can feed a person for years, 3 years, and they'll forget about you overnight. But if you feed a dog for 3 days, man, that dog will remember you for the rest of its life, man. And that's the truth. That's the truth.
Listen, when we first got our dogs and my kids were younger, and they'd get upset, they'd get frustrated because the dog, you know, want to come and lay with them and stuff. And I used to have to tell them, yo, I get it. You're frustrated. Maybe you don't want to get hair on your outfit. Maybe you don't want to get itchy. Whatever it is, I get it.
Yeah.
But you don't understand. That dog will die for you. If somebody was to break in this house and daddy's not home, that dog will never, ever, ever let anything happen to you.
Yep.
You know? I said, so, you know, I get it if you don't, you know, you don't want to get hair on your outfit or something. But, you know, you don't have to push them away and be like, get away. You know, you don't have to do that. You can do it differently. You know, you can still be nice and not have to get, you know, stuff all over you. I said, that dog will die for you. And I'm not talking about exaggeration. I mean, literally, that dog will die for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
No.
And they don't live long enough. And there's always going to be a day that's going to come, and you know it's inevitable, where you're going to wish you could get that hair off of you.
Yep.
You're going to wish you had to clean. I clean the door every day because of their nose. Mm-hmm. On the screen, on the glass door, you know, every day. I got to clean it again. I do it like 3 times a day. But you know what, man? One day I'm going to miss doing that shit, man. I'm going to say, man, I wish I could clean Chooch's snot.
Or one day you'll leave it there for a while. You know what I mean? And then you'll struggle to clean it and be like, damn, I got to clean this shit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, man.
That's unfortunately, that's what I think happens with us, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's just people.
They don't live long enough, man. They really don't. And you never know. Like, you know, his brother just passed away. So people are like, oh, you got a lot more years left with Chooch, and I hope I do. Yeah. But I don't know that.
Yeah,
I don't know that. So,
exactly.
You know, I try to treat him the best that I can every day, man. You know, and
I agree.
I hope to God he lives till he's 20.
Yeah.
You know, but
I agree.
You know.
You got any questions for me, brother? Anything you'd like to ask? Anything you'd like to know?
Trying to think. I mean, we were talking earlier.
Yeah.
Can I talk about the same stuff that I asked?
Oh yeah, anything you want to talk? And you know,
yeah. Yeah, like I know you did some state prison time.
Yes, sir.
And I was just, you know, how long did you do, and where were you at?
I did 17 years. I got certified when I was 15 years old. I went to the penitentiary, and I was at Dallas for like 9 years. Then I got kicked out of Dallas. I got into some shit there and ended up, you know, getting kicked out of there. Sent me to Camp Hill so there's a program there called the SMU Special Management Unit.
Okay.
Because I got locked up. I was young. I was a knucklehead. You know, I had a very, very, very huge problem with authority, especially from males. So I wasn't trying to hear anything. You know, I used to give it to the guards the same way I'll give it to an inmate. And it ended up biting me in the ass. I went to the SMU, which is like essentially a jail inside of the jail. It's like a step down program where you start at level 4, and level 4 you don't get no mail, nothing like that. You're in your cell, for 9 months straight, and then you get to another level. Eventually about 18 months, you you can graduate and stuff. You know, and I was just a young knucklehead, you know.
Right.
And ended up throwing away, you know, like the best years of what is supposed to be my life, you know.
Yeah.
Teens, 20s, and half of my 30s.
Right.
You know, because I was too worried about everything else but the important stuff. You know,
Right.
too worried about my name.
Yeah.
Too worried about getting money. You know, ego. You know, I can't let them say this. I can't let, you know, all that type of shit.
Now, did you get sober while incarcerated? Or?
No. So I got clean in 2016. I came home in 2015, December 23rd, 2015. 6 months later, I had a bad weekend, came to Philly, grabbed 2 bags, took them home. Everything went wrong that day. Absolutely everything. I forgot my ID, I forgot my money, forgot my, we got pulled over, got a flat tire. My homie that was supposed to pass me off the bags, because my wife and kids came, we were going to the zoo. So my homie that was supposed to slide me off the 2 bags, because I told him, long story short, we were supposed to take my daughter and go to Puerto Rico for the weekend. Her mom wouldn't allow me. So, you know, I had been through custody and had fought her in custody for years just to be a father.
Right.
And this was the first time that we were supposed to go on vacation. Tickets were bought, everything. And then at the last minute, she decides to, out of spite, take my daughter and leave. And now I can't take her on vacation.
Oh,
I was crushed.
Yeah.
I was crushed. So I was like, yo, we're not going on vacation, you know. And in my head, I already knew I was going to get high, because that's when I got high. Emotionally, when I'm hurt, I get high.
Yeah.
So I called my homie, yo, I'm going to swing through a block. I'm going to give you £1, slide me 2 bags. Don't let my wife see, you know. And my wife is in recovery also.
Okay.
So we go to the zoo, you know, do all that. Like I said, everything went wrong. Everything. I'm calling my homie, telling him, yo, I'm coming through. He doesn't pick up. He just didn't want to tell me no. So he figured, all right, I'm not going to pick up. You know, I'm not going to answer him.
Right.
So in the process, I already had it in my head. No, I'm getting high today.
Yeah.
I went and copped from somewhere else. Got home. And I had to wait for everybody to go to sleep, because my wife ain't stupid. She knows if I'm high or not. And I couldn't do it in front of them. So I said, I got to wait until they go to sleep. The fucking kids are bouncing off the walls this day. Any other time they go to bed at 9 o'clock. Today they don't go to bed till 11. I fell asleep and actually woke up and was like, oh shit, everybody's asleep. All right, I could go get high. Like, who does that shit? I'm already asleep. It's fucking 1 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
Slide out of my bed, grab the 2 bags, go in the bathroom, sniff the first one. That's all I remember. I woke up in the hospital 3 days later. My wife said that my son, who was 2 years old at the time, shout out Mage, he woke my wife up, and my wife had the presence of mind to listen to him. And he woke her up, you know, it was like 2 o'clock in the morning, I guess, and said, Mommy, where's Poppy? And I'm not in the bed. She looks down the hall and sees the bathroom light on. It's like, damn, let me go check on him. And I'm laying on the floor dead. You know, my wife is a nurse. Pulse, nothing, heartbeat, nothing, air, nothing. You know, like I said, I wake up in the hospital 3 days later, tubes down my throat. Didn't know where I was at, didn't know what happened. And then at this time I was on parole, so I'm scared to call my PO. I'm like, damn, I'm gonna get locked up.
Yeah.
You know, and my parole, thankfully, shout out to him too. He was like, damn, I thought you were doing good. And I said I was, and just, you know, explained.
Yeah.
I went to a program and ended up I came home after that and had another relapse. And then after that, it was literally, I just realized, I was like, damn, my son, my wife, these are, you know, my family. My whole life, I just wanted to be a good father. I figure if I'm a good father, I'm going to be a good husband. I'm going to be a faithful husband, you know, provide, protect, all that.
Yeah.
And I realized, damn, I just almost broke my son's heart in the absolute worst way I could. And it was all my fault. Absolutely, it was all my fault. And I started getting high because my mother died. So I said, damn, I could have repeated that cycle.
Yeah.
Like, how fucked up would that have been?
Yeah.
My wife got to find me dead. Now, she got to deal with taking care of the kids and all that stuff by herself. And then, you know, I just realized I needed to make some changes, and thankfully was able to do that, and still rumbling. I'll come up on 8 years in September.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah,
September what?
September 17th.
Okay. Yeah, I was there because I'm the 30th.
Yeah, 2 days before my birthday.
Oh, that's love,
Yep.
man. And do you think all those little obstacles that day was like God being like, yo, bro, just go home?
Absolutely.
When these little things happen,
100%.
man.
Especially because I knew I was probably the only one in the car that knew.
That I never crossed that line, like I never went to.
Yeah.
I never had to.
Yeah.
Because I knew, because I didn't have to have any money on me, Frank.
Mhm.
I just make a call, I'm gonna swing by. All right, yo, Eddie's good. These are neighborhood dudes I've known for years.
Yeah.
So I always had what I needed. I never had to search for something else.
Yep.
And it was good because I never had to search for something, but it was bad because it was so easy to keep up with my habit.
So when I first started taking pills, that's what it was. And even when the day I transitioned, the first time I sniffed a bag of dope, I started going through withdrawal from the pills. And it was like this, the middle of summer, and I'm feeling sick. And I told somebody, they said, yo, you're going through withdrawal. And I was like, yeah, you fucking crazy. I didn't believe it. They said, you sniff a bag of dope, you'll feel perfectly fine. And I was like, no, I stopped taking the pills because I was like, I just didn't like what it was doing to me. It was changing me.
Mm-hmm.
And then later on that night, I ended up sniffing a bag of dope. And I was getting money at the time. I had endless amounts of money, The pills, I was taking probably like, I don't know, maybe like 20, 30 perks a day. I was taking
a lot of money.
Yeah, I was taking so many pills that the pills weren't cutting it no more,
Right.
And then I had stopped taking them. And then I remember, it was like, yo, you're going through withdrawal, you sniff a bag of dope. And me, like a dumbass, I did. And the best feeling in the world, and the worst, because I knew I just crossed the line. I shouldn't have crossed. And I know my personality, and, I know what addiction does.
Yeah. You lived it.
That shit tore my life, my whole family, so I know. But thankfully, life is a little different today. Hopefully tomorrow and the next day, but today life is different.
Today life is different, and thank God you got clean and sober when you did, because it's
I wouldn't be alive.
Just out there just now.
I wouldn't be alive.
It's crazy out there right now, man. It's a different world, and shame on the city of Philadelphia for letting it get this bad.
I agree.
It's unfortunate, and it's awful. I always say, man, I don't blame the dudes trapping, right? They grew up there. I don't blame the people doing the drugs, buying, right? I blame the city for allowing it to go on, because they're going to do what they're going to do. That's all they know, right? That's all they know. So they grow up. You're a product of your own environment.
Yeah.
They're going to, but it's the city's job to, try to stop it. And it's just, the left has went so far left, and the right has gone so far right, that nobody has any common sense anymore, I feel like. And, for a long time, I don't always agree with the law, bro, right?
Yeah.
I broke the law. I'm not, but I know that there has to be some accountability. The cops have a job to do.
Of course.
They're supposed to get the bad guys. The bad guys got a job to do. They're supposed to get away from the cops. This has worked for years. And now, it's like The Wire out there. It's like Amsterdam. There ain't no cops.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? It's a shame for the people who have to raise kids in this environment.
They're held captive in their community, just outside the door.
I couldn't imagine.
Just outside the door.
I couldn't imagine.
Yeah, I'm thankful. Just outside the door. So I thank you, brother. I thank you for taking the time to sit down and bust it up with me.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
I truly appreciate it. Y'all, go to this man's social medias. Let's get his YouTube jumping. Go to his social medias. Go to his TikTok. Go to Instagram. I have everything linked. I promise you, once you get on this brother's channel or in page and start seeing what he's about, you're gonna like it. It brightens up your day. Sometimes I'll come across a kid who'll come to the barbershop, and there will be a little kid, and it's a good experience, and I'll say, damn, I needed that. For my soul, I needed that today. That's what his page is. It's a lot of, I needed that, So
Yeah.
I thank you, brother. Keep it up.
Thank you. Thank you for having
and
me on.
I appreciate you coming on and speaking with us, brother. Thank you.
Thank
very
you,
much.
Frank. Thanks. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, brother. And